Hi.
Oh, hi, Ty.
What you doing?
Paying bills. Dang taxes.
Oh man. Um, you can just add me to that list.
Speaking of, we're talking about taxes in an upcoming episode with Frank, like we did last year, about taxes and sports cards and all that good stuff. So look for that on Bench Clear Media
We're actually recording
later
that
this week.
right after this episode. So yeah, Frank, we're doing it earlier this year. We did it late. What are we doing? February?
Yeah, but you want to make sure you're preparing because after the end of the year, it's too late then to use expenses and buy some things that you might want to buy as write-offs, offset, and things like that. So this will give people a little bit of a runway to get that done, hopefully. So
yeah,
how was your weekend?
it was good, man. It's good. I think you probably saw that video. Bought a collection from a guy. Had an interesting experience with that. Actually got my truck stuck on a cliff and had to get a skid steer out there in the rain in the middle of the night in the side of a mountain to get it out. It was a whole adventure, but got a few nice pool horses in the deal. Made it fun.
You got some really nice pool horses in it. I mean, all the cards you got were fantastic. I loved all of them. The lighting was weird on the video. Like it was super bright. And so it washed out some things, but the cards looked great. Loved it.
Unknown caller.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I
Unknown caller is calling you.
Unknown caller? You show that?
No, that was your phone was just ringing.
Yeah. How did you catch that?
It said unknown caller just now.
What?
All right, awesome. Everybody down below, if you heard unknown caller, put it down below, along with some other things that we talk about later. You can comment on our comments.
That's crazy. I don't know how that happened, but that's awesome. Yeah, so a great experience there. Got the pools, has got some other stuff. We'll see. I paid quite a bit for it. I think it was a good price, but some of that stuff, like you have to re-slab it and you got to hope that some of those sets have the cards in them. I haven't taken the time to go through some of those. So it was a great experience. So so my truck was basically, the drop was like 8 feet and I thought for sure my truck was going to flip and I was in it when it happened. And it just, the guy was so apologetic. He was awesome. And I had no phone reception. So we had to like get the community involved to help get my truck out because we couldn't get anybody else to help. And my son was there. My son was just like, Dad, I'm just glad you didn't die because it looked like you were falling off the mountain.
Oh, May would have loved that. I was buying sports cards and lost my husband. Like that would not be good.
No, that would not have been a good ending. And I tried to get some video footage, but it was just so dark that I couldn't get anything except for like the headlights.
Interesting.
Anyway, what about your weekend? I know you have some big decisions kind of on the horizon right now. What can you tell me? What can you share?
My weekend was good. I didn't buy any sports cards, which is a decision that, I've in the past, I've done like no card November and everybody I think takes some breaks every once in a while, but I'm going to be taking the longest break that I've taken in a decade at least. And it's because Julie and my wife is named Julie, making some personal decisions about her wanting to quit work next May. And she'll only be 52. So it's not like she's retirement age, but working in public education is really just taking its toll on her. And I want her to take a break. And in order to do that, to lose one of your incomes with 2 kids in college, I have 2 mortgages. I have, so there's a lot of money going out the door. And no matter how many zeros are in your bank account or how much money you make, you have to be conscious of where you're spending it. And so as we make this decision about Julie's future work prospects, which might be zero, which again is fine. It's a decision we're making together. We're talking through it. And I've committed to not buy cards for 6 months and to take that money and plow down some debt, like pay this house off, pay off a truck, those types of things, which is not small dollars, and it's so weird how much of this to go into, because people will sound like I'm whining. I'm not. I'm not complaining about it. I'm making this decision eyes wide open, and that's everybody, not everybody. We just needed to. We need to do this, and so that's.
I love it.
It's going to be hard.
I love the boldness. Yeah, we've already talked about how hard it's going to be. It's going to give you a different perspective on collecting and holding and valuing what you have. Your content on YouTube is going to be different. I'm looking forward to what it does to you. And I think it's a good lesson for anybody, right? It's like you have to make decisions that are best for your family at the end of the day. Like cards pale in comparison to what's happening in real life,
For sure.
And so I love how you put your family's decisions up on a pedestal.
Yeah. And it's not, I'm getting out of the hobby. People would say, well, just sell a few things and pay the debt off, and then you can keep buying. Well, I don't want to do that. Yeah. If some people would do that, that's fine if they decided to do that. I don't want to do that. If I sold my Mantle rookie, well, then I wouldn't have a Mantle rookie anymore. Like, well, wait a second, that doesn't sound like a great idea to me. And again, each person has to make their own personal decisions about these types of things. It might get to a point where I do want to sell some things, but not anytime soon. I don't want to get out of the hobby. I don't want to stop making content. I don't want any of that. I just need to put a moratorium on buying cards. And so I bought my last card. I think it was about a week ago. Got them all in. I've now shown on my channel every card that I have I have nothing else in to look forward to coming in the mail. So I've made some deals prior. Like I made a deal with you, for example, that I'm going to honor because I told you I would do that. And you wouldn't be mad if I reneged on that deal, because you could sell the card for 3 times as much as you sold it to me for. But
no, you mean I'm going to honor the deal, not you're going to honor the deal. In fact, it's sitting right here. I set it aside for you. Your Ichiro rookie SGC 9. It's ready for you. And
that's right. Sleeve. I bought that card from you
for $50. What a deal, guys! Everybody see that? Taking care of my guys.
But and what's funny is, we've talked about this before about hobby budgets and how important it is to have a hobby budget. I'm one of those guys that doesn't really have this is going to sound very, I don't know if egotistical is the right word, but I don't really have a hobby budget. I just kind of spend, I pay all the bills and all the, I don't have credit card debt. I don't buy cards on debt or anything like that. All the bills get paid, extra on the mortgage, all these things. I do all the right things. And then, oh, by the way, I still have money left over for cards, and I just spend that as I can. Yeah. But that's because Julie's been working, and we've had her money, my money to get, 2 incomes, and that's going to change. And I don't want to buy cards until May and then stop. Well, then it really hits you, because I still have all these. I'm trying to use that money to lower my. It's all about cash flow, right? And I want to lower what I have going out, so that when she quits, it's just much easier. And who knows what cards will look like for me going forward, if I will have to have, quote unquote, a budget. We'll see. But
big decision, and you made it.
Sorry, long story, but that's kind of the deal.
Well, I'm sure we'll be talking lots about that over the next 6 months. Now 5 months and 3 weeks.
That's right. I'll be counting the days.
Which is, I tried to use that as logic to get out of this deal, right? Like, you can't pay for this, Mike. You made a deal with your wife. But it's okay. I think that was made pre-hiatus. Look, a big week in sports. A big week in sports in the sense that I felt like football. I thought this week in football was the best week so far this season. I thought the teams that needed to show up showed up, which was really enjoyable. College basketball kicked off last week. which is I love college basketball.
Yeah.
And then 2021 Topps All Rookie Team is released. And we're going to talk about it here in a second. But what did you think about football yesterday?
It was great. Obviously, the Cowboys showed up. All the teams that looked terrible last week looked really good this week. The Packers really manhandled the Seahawks. Kansas City played really well last night. That was a good game for them. Like, okay. Oh, yeah. Kansas City, Dallas. When is that happening?
Yeah, right. Well, to finish off your thought, the interesting things about yesterday was that the teams that needed to play well, not only offensively played well, but like defensively just shut down teams.
Yeah. Yeah. The Bills played really well.
Yeah.
Thinking
the
of
Patriots look really good.
Yep.
I cannot wait for the Cowboys Chiefs because it's gonna shut you up a little bit about this whole hype train that you're on. What are we betting? Straight up,
no points, because I think the line we looked today and it's 1.5.
Yeah,
the Chiefs are favored 1.5, but that's pretty much because they're playing at home.
Yeah,
I think. God, what do you want to bet? I mean.
Well, I was thinking about this. What I have a show. There's a big show in Montana coming up in April that you'll be out of your 6 months. What if the loser has to go to the other person's nearest biggest show in the spring of next year? Pay for your own, and so I got to go to Dallas with you.
Fair enough, and that's kind of not that bad because I'd love to do that anyway. And you would love to come. I know you want to come to a Dallas show. Have you been to a Dallas show? I can't remember if you came down for a Dallas show or not.
No,
because you've been here, but I can't remember if that was just for us to shoot some videos and hang out. And all that
right.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But okay, let's do that. And the other person has to buy the other guy, let's say a $50 card or something.
Okay.
Like nothing huge, high end. We can just something that $50, let's say.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Straight up. I obviously have the Cowboys. You have the Chiefs. Okay. That's this Sunday, 3:25 kickoff.
I like it.
Central.
We got a crazy storm right here blowing through.
Snow?
I just saw. No, it's cold, but I'm just watching things in my yard blow away. It's just kind of interesting. If you hear a crash, it's me getting sucked out of the window.
Stuff is on the fly with Mike and Ty. See, that fits into our show name perfectly.
Well played. Well played. All right, I'm looking forward to the game now. It's going to be really good because it'll solidify you coming up to Montana in April,
which I would love to do anyway. So that sounds great.
Yes. So are you a big Rookie Cup guy? Do you collect Rookie Cup cards at all?
No, but I like them. I mean, I think it's a cool idea. It's one of those traditions that Topps has been doing forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, who's on the Rookie Cup team this year? I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, so I'll show this here in a second. But who do you think the big headliner is? Do you have any ideas?
I think Arozarena is probably on it. Because these will be shown on their next. Franco's got to be on it, I would think.
Yep.
So he'll have one of those Yordan Alvarez cards.
Right. Exactly. Well, Franco will. Yeah. Right. So I mean, there's a list, right? I mean, Jonathan India, who's going to probably win Rookie of the Year, right? He's obviously on it.
Patrick Wisdom, are you serious? Wow.
Yeah. Right. I looked at this and I thought, I mean, Arozarena has been a rookie for like a decade now, and you got, I don't know, Franco obviously is the big chase, but nobody else on that list. Maybe India. Nothing gets me excited about grabbing the Rookie Cup cards, and I'm not a big Rookie Cup guy anyway. But Franco is going to be the one. I could care less about getting a third card of Arozarena.
Right. Look at the relief pitcher Emmanuel Clase, Cleveland Guardians.
There it is. Now that you see it in writing, it's like, oh man.
Yeah. Jeez.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. All right, man. So question for you. I saw on Sports Collectors Daily, I was looking at some news. Another card, I mean, and this is becoming more common. Another card shop got broken into in Vegas this time. I think it was in Henderson. and obviously everything caught on video and stuff. But like when you put videos together, and that's a question for any content creator, do you get concerned about showing cards in your collection? And obviously I show some of mine. I don't have a crazy collection like you do, or really anybody for that matter. It's just a mediocre collection. But does it ever concern you with all the kind of theft and violence going around sports cards now? Showing your cards on video?
Long ago, when I first started making content, whenever that was, 6-7 years ago, Julie asked me, "Hey, are you concerned about this?" And I said, "Look, first of all, if somebody wants it bad enough, they can try. We have ways of protecting ourselves here in Texas that
Same in
good
Idaho.
luck with that. Good luck with that. Hope it works out for you." But I'm not going to live my life in fear. I'm not going to not do things just because maybe possibly something bad might happen. I think that's a bad way to live life. I might say that's silly, but I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately, like I'm not showing $20,000 cards and losing sleep over it. I protect my cards, and we're in an area in the state that I feel pretty well protected. Let's just say that. But yeah, it crosses my mind, right? I mean, but ultimately, for me, it's cardboard, right? I mean, look, it's cardboard.
But for you, I mean, even like for me, I don't have young kids in the house. Like, I would be more concerned, I think. I guess I did when I started. My kids were in the house, so
yeah.
I don't know. It's always in the back of your mind, but I don't spend a lot of time sweating it.
Yeah,
I know who's in control anyway, so
yeah.
I have my faith in that.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to know people's comments below about, especially content creators. Like, what do you think about when you're doing stuff like that? And my collection's so transient. I feel like there's a lot of things in and out where I never have enough to be really worried. Whereas yours is always like you're just accumulating and the collection's getting bigger.
Right.
It's a different story for me. But tell us what you think below, because I do think about it more. Especially when you see stories like this, right? It's like a card shop's getting robbed every week. I'm getting sick of it. I've been having some arguments, or not arguments, but conversations on Twitter about late 90s, mid to late 90s and early 2000s inserts, baseball inserts. And now there's a lot of YouTube content creators are putting out all this hype videos about those are the cards to collect now. You need to go chase those. And somebody that I follow was like, I don't get this. And my thought there is, I'd love to know your feedback. That created the category. That to me was a defining moment in sports cards when those new inserts, the parallels, the refractors, they started coming onto the market, and they were truly scarce. Like a lot of those are really scarce.
For sure.
What are your thoughts on kind of that segment of the market and the hype kind of going and grabbing those graded while you can?
I think that started in basketball, though, becoming those 90s parallels, thanks to Jordan and all these, they were popular at the time, but more for player collector. People didn't just go, I want the Griffey and the Jeter and the, McGuires and people, whoever was hot at that time. They're beautiful cards. And it was just a very competitive market at that time. People, card companies had to be creative, and how do I get these people's attention and their dollars at the end of the day? So they were very creative, and they came up with these awesome sets that now everybody's recreating. Topps is re-releasing Finest flashbacks and all these things. They really made some gorgeous cards in the mid and late 90s, for sure.
They really did. And what's cool to me is you see some of those cards now, and Nolan, like Elite Code 3, right? He'll grab some of those old late 90s cards that still got the shine, the refractor shine on them, and their slabs. Like when they're 25 years old and they're still shiny and beautiful, it's pretty cool. Like that's a different world. And you got vintage, you got kind of the mid to late 90s. Those are two really fun eras to collect.
Grab something and show this.
Uh-oh. I love to know your favorite. I'm a sucker for Gold Label. Like I love Gold Label.
I do too.
I love Finest. What are you showing here?
Like a 93 Finest refractor. It's
Yeah.
not going to do it justice on this.
PSA 8 Gwen.
Yeah. I mean, this might be the most beautiful set ever created, this Finest refractor set from 93. First year of Finest. And these are like, there's only 208 or something. I can't remember the 211.
Because it was one per box.
Right.
Right. And those were the expensive cars. Those were the cream of the crop in 93. So
and I just bought this at the last Dallas show. I love Tony Gwynn, but I've never owned a 93 Finest refractor. So I just wanted to have one in my collection, to be honest. And why not one of the best hitters of all time? These are just so pretty.
They are. One of my holy grail cards is the Griffey from 93 refractor.
That's a big boy card for sure.
Yeah, it's a big boy. That's one of those, like, I just wish I would stumble across in a collection. That's what I'm hoping.
I would love the Nolan Ryan 93 Finest refractor. That would be.
What is the Ryan going for?
I don't know.
1,000 or 2 graded? Probably. I'm going to guess 800 to 1,000. But yeah, it's a big boy card too.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Let's look at sold.
A great reason to check out Card Hedge. If you haven't checked out Card Hedge.
Yes, our sponsor. No refractors have sold. That's a shame.
Because no one's selling them.
Oh yeah, one did. The last one sold for $4,000. PSA 9.
There you go. Like, that's a whole new world right there, right? I mean, obviously a star, but maybe in the top 10 of that release for players.
Yeah.
And a pitcher.
An 8 sold for over $2,000. An 8. And I bought this 8 for $150. So
dang, Tony Gwynn's so undervalued. 94 is a good one to chase too. 94 has a little bit more on the refractor side, but not many more. So if you're looking for some good value, go get the 94s. Who was the rookie 94? Was that Manny? Manny Ramirez had his rookie then, right? Was he 94?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was in 93 SP.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture that card.
Now
we're being geeky.
I know.
We're being geeky. But anyway, that's good feedback. PSA. Big news this week. And it's not really news. I don't know if Nat slipped like in the comments. There's been some videos put out in the last few hours from other content creators. Go check out Retro Hoop Collectibles. Reopening, standard submissions reopening in 2 weeks is what he said on an Instagram comment.
Actually, what he said was the way the comment read was regular. He didn't say standard. And I don't know what the difference is. There's probably some nuance there that I'm unaware of, but I just want to be clear. He said regular, which right now only Express is open at $150 a card. Is regular going to be $100 a card? We don't really know. We'll find out in 2 weeks, and that was yesterday that came out. So you're looking at the end of the month.
Yeah, rolling into Christmas. Interesting. What if you were to advise him on what to do with, and they already probably got a plan, obviously. What would you say would be a good strategy for rolling something like that out? Anything that you would change?
Don't.
If
you think about it I see both sides of it, okay? I'm a guy that has cards that were submitted last December, logged in March, and still sitting there waiting to get them back. And so you've still got a massive amount of these cards that were submitted at a bulk price of, let's call it $9, right? Probably somewhere in that range. Then they shut down. Now they're reopening, taking new cards. I get why part of me says, finish all of that, then you should start taking new cards at kind of a normal thing. However, if you're PSA, think about it. You got this backlog that, again, you don't get paid, right, until the card is graded, and you're only getting $9 a card at that point. And right now you could start, hey, let's start taking in some cards. Let's put it at a price level we're not going to get totally overwhelmed, but that we can start collecting literally 10 times the money to grade a card. That sounds like a much better deal for PSA, you know? And so I think they got to be really careful here, because the optics of it are not good when the hobby knows what the backlog, that there is still a backlog. Are they chopping through it? Probably. But at the same time, they're not done with it. Got all these people with cards that are waiting to be graded. But I see both sides of it, I guess. I would tell him, hey man, don't do it, but he would listen to me anyway.
I think communication, transparency is everything here. I think the more, the better. We talked about this last week. I mean, even just updates on the backlog with specific numbers would be helpful. I think they're 2 to 3 months away from being clear of the backlog. That's what it looks like to me, if you do the math. But I do like the idea of like what the way Hybrid does it, where you get a certain amount of submissions per week as a person, as a login. Maybe you cap it at 25 to 50 per person, and kind of slowly ease back into allowing standard submissions in bulk. There needs to be something like that. If they're going to charge $100 a card, it's probably not going to matter, because everyone's not going to go run to PSA. It's got to be back in, the $50 range, $30 range. I don't know what that sweet spot is, but
if you think about you've got cards that you're kind of SGC, PSA. Now do you go, okay, I'm going to wait 2 weeks, see what the new price level is, and maybe like 100%, right? There's a lot of people probably like you kind of on that. Well, at 150, it's probably not worth it. However, at 100, maybe now it gets more enticing. And so of course they'll attract more cards, lowering the price. It's and opening, it'll be a longer, turnover time or whatever. We'll see what that looks like. Probably 3 months, 4 months, which is still forever. Like, so much can change. And look, I mean, especially on the basketball side, it's ridiculous. 4 months, that season's almost over by then. What's the point? You get the hot rookie now. Now you can pay up to get it sooner, obviously, but probably juice isn't worth the squeeze on that.
Yeah. Well, I kind of knew they were getting close when my last express order came back in 8 business days. And I think they're promising 3 weeks, maybe it's 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not sure what it was when I submitted, but it came back in 8 business days. And I'm thinking, okay, their backlog must not be that crazy on the express side, which to me says they're probably reaching that saturation point where people are just kind of like, I can't, I've sent all the cards I can in, that justify the 150. I don't have any more.
What do you think about this theory that they're segmenting their business? They're going, okay, look, we're going to assign a certain number of people towards tackling the backlog, and we're going to assign a certain percentage of our staff and people to dealing with new submissions, because those are so much higher revenue submissions. You don't want to just close those off. If you're only grading cards at $9 a card, we're getting all these people to grade at $9. That's a lot of overhead you're paying for and not getting the return on it as a business. So I can see them really attacking these. Hey, at $150 a card, let's get those done, because we could collect that money faster.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Versus the $9 cards, we're not really making a whole lot on those anyway. So we'll dedicate some people to that, but it's not a huge priority for us, honestly. We're gonna do it when we do it. But these other people that are paying $150 a card, that's good revenue for us. Let's get those banged out.
Yeah. Well, and they're also thinking, look, we sold for what, 800 million? We can't have a 3 or 4 month gap of like a declining revenue, because they're going to hit that point where they've cleared the backlog. There's not enough express coming in to raise revenue. And now the standard submissions, they don't get charged for 4 to 6 months. You can't have that. The board of directors is not going to approve that, right? So they're planning out to when this backlog catches up. So
right. It'll be interesting. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Get ready for.
But
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, to your point though, like it truly does have me second guessing a couple submissions that I was just getting ready to send to SGC. Not because I don't believe in SGC, but because if it moves the needle 50% closer in price, there's just no reason to send it to SGC versus PSA for semi-modern stuff. Old vintage, okay, you can make the case, but
yeah,
I'm sure I'm one of many right now thinking the same thing.
That's right.
That's right. Cool, man. What's going on this week? What do we got coming out?
I'm going to do a Golden Age of Cardboard episode. I'm still ironing out who I want to have on, or if I'm going to do a solo episode. I've got some things. I've got some interesting price things that have happened that I wanted to just talk about. Kind of some softening on the vintage side. We're going to do our tax episode with Frank. So I got those two things rolling. And I'm going to be on Personal Finance Dad live stream tomorrow night, apparently. So,
ooh, very nice.
Making a guest appearance. And I was on Hobby Hotline last Tuesday. So
you're just a hot commodity these days.
No, probably not. Especially now that everybody knows I'm not buying cards for 6 months.
Except for this chump. We don't want this chump anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, that's probably true anyway. But.
Well, I got a great interview coming out tomorrow with Ryan from Breakout Cards.
Great guy.
Great guy. He's been to 47 card shows this year so far, and we talk about his learnings from that and kind of the vibes he's picking up. It was a great conversation, so I'm excited to put that interview out. Another 1.5 million card update midweek. Tyson's got an episode coming out this week.
Behind the numbers, yeah. Lots going on.
Yeah, lots going on.
Your bench clear feed will be full this week.
That's right. And then next week, we're going to try to answer questions from you guys. So questions that you want us to talk about on the fly, November 22nd, put them in the comments below. We're going to make it as oriented around questions as we can because everyone keeps asking, hey, can we ask some questions? Maybe we'll even have some guest appearances to answer questions with us.
Awesome.
Yay for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mike, have a great week. Don't spend too much money.
All right.
This is going to be boring. I have to show all my cards that I buy now.
That's right. You buy it, but you got great stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll live vicariously.
All right. Have a good week.
All right.
That's
bye.
right. All right. Later.